Ladies and gentlemen, what happened at that party will be remembered as one of the most amazing events in the history of the entertainment industry. It had bodyguards that appeared to be still, champagne flying, yelling yells, and Remy Ma losing it in front of the entire list of VIP visitors. "You stole everything from me." Wait. Everything. Not the man, not the spotlight, not even the Instagram followers. Everything. Remy Ma shook with rage amid slow-motion dance battles, flashing cameras, and pricey clothes. The problem is that this outburst wasn't just loud. It was deliberate, as if she had been rehearsing that line in the mirror for weeks. Initially, there was no security movement. It looked like a spectacle to them. But when the glass broke and Remy leaped across the VIP table like it was the last boss level, that's when the chaos really began. So what exactly had Claressa stolen? Why did Remy jeopardize her entire career with one public outburst? With leaked audio already causing a stir online, who was able to record every moment in 4,000. Hold on tight, for this narrative will take an entirely different turn after what we disclose next. Let's analyze everything. It started this way, just like any other A-list affair. Velvet ropes, expensive champagne, and dramatic guest lists. But what happened in downtown Atlanta at Brandon's Celebrity Lounge was more than just a rumor. It was a full-fledged emotional nuclear explosion, and Remy Ma was all over it. Witnesses reported that celebrities from various sports and hip-hop genres were mixing at the gathering. Cardi B was observed consuming alcohol in the booth in the corner, a margarita with encrustation. In front of the selfie wall, Rick Ross had been busy flaunting himself. As soon as things became hot, even Ice Spice made a fleeting appearance before departing. But since this is more than just a party, let's travel back in time to a time when we say heat up. We mean drama that scorches the walls and burns the guest list. This is a case of betrayal. Remy Ma is involved in this. This story is about Claressa Shields, the undefeated boxing champion who donned Ray's worst nightmare. And no, we're not talking about fashion. We're talking about Papoose. Yes, exactly. Previously helped Remy Ma while she was incarcerated. The same man who concluded fidelity was hailed as Black Love's last hero, and he rode for her when she was distressed. Soldier, that dude was now publicly coupled up with Claressa Shields. In addition to booting up, they were whispering, laughing, and even doing the two-step together while holding hands like they were in a Tyler Perry finale. Things get tricky at this point. Remy Ma was not aware that Claressa and Papoose would be there together, according to a number of others inside the event, including one anonymous bartender who said she was too drunk to speak the truth. Of course, she had anticipated Claressa, but Papoose was a gut punch. According to one insider, Remy was already tense before entering. According to reports, her glam personnel had to redo her eyeliner twice when she sobbed in the parking lot. "I'm flipping every damn table in there if I see that girl with my man," another witness, who styles several hip-hop and romantic celebs, claims Remy told her. She did. Spoiler warning. As soon as Remy entered the room, the temperature dropped by 10. The DJ felt a cosmic shift and paused the beat for a moment. Remy walked straight by the photo booth, ignoring the welcome pictures, and turned to face Claressa across the room as though they were weighing in. Furthermore, Claressa did not flinch, blink, or even take a sip of her beverage. Instead, she smiled and tightened her arm over Papoose's shoulder. "I apologize." It was at that point that Remy Ma, the Bronx pitbull of hip-hop, decided that this night would not end with polite shade or hushed side glances. No, Remy was prepared for an all-out WrestleMania. "Baby," she gave birth. She walked across the room, as if she owned the red carpet. Responses. The sound of heels clicking is like a countdown to disaster. Her eyes were glassy with a mix of anger and grief, and she tightened her hands. Security monitored her movements but did nothing. After all, she wasn't actually doing anything yet. That soon changed. One guest likened the subsequent events to the psychological equivalent of a meteor strike. Remy didn't just approach them. She exploded with cameras blazing and phones filming. Before saying the now famous words, "That's already been me to hell. I lost everything because of you," Remy nodded to Claressa. "Everything." Not only Papoose, not just the broader public's sympathy. Remy was talking about allegiance, heritage, and the story. Claressa laughed, adding insult to injury. You heard right. According to one leaked video footage, Claressa actually laughed. Remy lost it at that point. A $4,000 dress worn by someone we won't identify, but who was definitely not involved, was spilled over as her drink went flying. It was the kind of chuckle that says, I won, and I'm not even sweating it. Papoose stood up and tried to defuse the situation, but it was too late. Remy bounded across the VIP booth with the energy of a woman who had been cheated on a lot. Within seconds, security rushed in. There was a shout from the guests. Someone yelled, "World star!" Because, of course, they did. A person's heel slipped off in the middle of the chaos and landed on the DJ's table. But let's be serious for a moment. This wasn't just a chaotic moment. This was a woman on the point of death. Remy Ma has remained calm in the face of jail time, public controversies, and career highs and lows. Watching the man she made a public fairy tale with become close to a woman half her industry age, however, went viral twice as quickly. That broke something inside of her. It wasn't just a scenario, it was disastrous. In addition to the internet. Oh, you already know it blew up. Within 20 minutes, 5 different accounts of the incident were posted on X, the former Twitter, each with a commentary accompanied by a bootleg emoji. Hashtags like #Papoose explain, #Remy vs Claressa, and #Remy Snap gained popularity right away. However, it gets better since it appears that the entire altercation, including a whispered chat that was missed at the time, was captured on camera by someone in the DJ's entourage. The voice that sounds frighteningly similar to Claressa's declares, "He was never yours to begin with. If this were chess, it would be checkmate in high heels." And that's exactly where the story shifts from drama to a careful investigation. Because minutes after the altercation, security brought Remy away without handcuffs. She was released from jail. Moreover, according to our sources, she wasn't even barred from going inside. Then what? Remy went where? How did Claressa react when she realized the cameras were still in motion? At that moment, things take a darker, more twisted turn. Because just when you thought Remy was out of the picture, someone posted a second video from the parking lot. And everyone wanted to know if the video that was captured outside the venue was only the beginning of something far more terrible. Let's get started. Midnight in a parking lot in Atlanta. And just when we thought Remy Ma and Claressa Shields' match was over, there was a viral scream and a thrown-away drink. Boom. Another factor surfaced. This time, it wasn't from the club. It was external. The video from the iPhone wasn't shaky. This was obvious, well-lit, high-definition chaos, perhaps captured by a paparazzo hiding in the valet bushes with a lens long enough to zoom into sadness. At the beginning of the video, Remy is seen smudging her mascara, stepping up her pace, taking off her heels, and moving her wigs a little. Everything she had ever known seemed to be leaving her. She kept tightening the other hand into a fist while holding her phone in the other. Not that she was yelling. This time, she took everything. She took everything. She was repeating to herself in a whisper when a familiar voice called out to her from behind. Remy yells back, "Worse. You were created by me. I held us down even after I was imprisoned." The audio is terrible, raw, and authentic. Some say it's staged, while others say it's too real to fake. Yo, Remy, don't make this worse. And with one snap, the world saw its second highly shared moment of the evening. It's a Papoose. At that point, things go out of control. Here's the real deal. Remy breakdown and P4 was reposted over 87,000 times in a few hours, but the last 10 seconds of the video were muted. What's hidden there? Anonymous insiders claim that Remy threatened to sue, hinted at disclosing long-kept secrets, and even mentioned a child. Yes, you read correctly. A leaked direct message purportedly from a burner account connected to Remy's inner circle claims that she screamed at Papoose, saying, "Tell her the truth about that baby before I do." Hold on, Scarlett. Police. Some people believe that Claressa may have had a kid with Papoose prior to their relationship being public. And if this is the case, then all we know about this romantic triangle turns into a labyrinth of treachery, dishonesty, and perhaps even cover-ups. Claressa, meanwhile, is totally unconcerned. The morning following the incident, Claressa posted a picture of herself on Instagram with a glass of green juice and a smile on her face, captioning it, "Still undefeated." Some say it has to do with Remy's own child and a secret betrayal involving earlier DNA tests, but so far, none of that has been verified. In and out of the ring, boxing glove, nail polish, phew. In less than 6 hours, that one post garnered 1.2 million views, and the comments were raving about it. Remy got rocked, and it wasn't even a fight. Without a doubt, that is a champion reaction. But not everyone supported Claressa. Some ardent Remy Ma admirers fiercely defended her. "Remy, go cry in the studio." Among the comments that have been pinned on numerous reposts are the following: "This isn't a boxing match. Y'all forgot who held Papoose down when the world forgot about him, and Claressa is just cleaning up an empire that she didn't create. This championship is a home crash." Even Fat Joe subtly weighed in, tweeting the cryptic line, "Loyalty doesn't cost a thing until it's tested." And yes, fans are now demanding he pick a side. He hasn't yet. Let's not ignore the wider fallout either. This wasn't just a private drama anymore. It was the top headline on every blog, gossip page, and YouTube channel from LA to London. Even TMZ tried to get Claressa to comment outside a training facility the next day. Her response was that she laughed and then said, "Tell Remy to train harder before stepping in my ring. I admire these two powerful black women. I request privacy when we discuss private issues." Privacy, sir? You want privacy after being seen on camera slow dancing at a wedding while holding Claressa's waist. It didn't sit well with Twitter. Not Papoose, the protagonist of season 35 of As the Bronx Turns, requesting solitude. "We want him to never stop talking after he was silent for 10 years. If boxing gloves and BBL energy are holding you hostage, sir, do you blink twice?" Lawsuits are the topic of discussion right now, but more will follow. According to security files, someone tried to follow Claressa to her car that evening but was apprehended by event security. Let's be honest, once someone chose to post the venue guest list on the internet, the entire situation spiraled out of hand. A drunken DJ, a jealous stylist, or a dodgy assistant can transmit a single screenshot to the correct blogger, and presto, public outcry. And you know what? The venue owner is allegedly suing because Remy Ma's drink toss allegedly destroyed a custom $18,000 booth that was imported from Milan, according to an exclusive report that we have not yet verified. Staff, but when asked, the individual claimed to be collaborating with Remy's public relations team. What? It sounds eerily like the start of a scandal far larger than just spilled drinks and viral statements, but we're not claiming this was a setup. Think about Claressa's abrupt relationship with Papoose, Remy's emotional breakdown right away, she didn't know this was going to happen, a baby's secret, and threats of exposure that were seen on camera. No, this isn't just drama, it's the start of a full-blown unraveling. Not to mention the enigmatic Bronx truth teller, a TikTok user who has been sharing purported voice notes and old voicemails from Remy Ma's husband, Papoose, one of which appears to depict Papoose admitting he felt we're only getting started because insiders claim that Ray's next move isn't a diss tune, but rather something much, much worse. Remy's legacy was deliberately set on fire, and that subsequent action was a lawsuit rather than a press tour, a diss track, or even an apology. Yes, Remy Ma's legal team filed a lawsuit accusing Claressa of being the last bullet in court documents submitted barely 2 days after the party. Twitter scholars disagreed about the definition of Shields of purposeful infliction of emotional distress, character defamation, and legacy sabotage, but the message was clear. Remy wasn't taking down the lying, and she was fighting back, this time with paperwork. However, that wasn't even the most ridiculous aspect. A timeline of claimed manipulation dating back to 2023 was included in the case. Claressa was putting herself into Remy's personal orbit under the guise of motivational mentorship, even offering to help create a documentary on balancing fame and family while secretly deeming the husband according to Remy's legal team, who said Claressa had been planning her closeness to Papoose long before the public found out. This stuff is unbelievable to me. Oh, hold on. We simply did. But listen, we would already be 6 episodes into the show and anticipating a plot twist. If this were a Netflix drama. Speaking of unexpected story twists, can you guess who suddenly began collaborating with the media? Papoose. I waited for her for 7 years, Mr. Loyalty, Mr. Black Love, Mr. After his peaceful sit-down interview with a small independent podcast. It was syndicated across all of the big blogs in a matter of hours. Sometimes we love someone for who they were, not for who they are today, he added. I put everything into that marriage, but I was forced to leave when it became an unbarred jail. The host of the podcast then asks him directly, so are you confirming the relationship with Claressa? People went crazy in a bar-free prison, but wait, it gets messier. Papoose pauses, smiles, and continues, let's just say that I found peace, and peace isn't a crime. Boom. Confirmed. All the rumors, all the blurry photos, all the coincidental vacation overlaps. This was no longer speculation. This was a public declaration of betrayal. Reportedly, Remy Ma watched that interview by herself in her manager's office. According to sources, she didn't even cry. She just stood there silent, then whispered, "He really did it." The next video then appeared, but it wasn't of Remy or I always warned my brother, be careful when you let fame play therapist, Papoose, but of Fat Joe on a live stream. Face dead serious, voice quiet. There are some people you just don't betray. Cryptic? Absolutely. But was it a warning or a rebuke? Fans immediately assumed that Joe was supporting Remy, and not just emotionally, because within 48 hours, she was spotted at Terror Squad Studios, where she began her post-prison comeback, where she once said, "This mix saved my life." She was back, and based on leaked audio from that session, she is working on a song called Snatched Crown, in which she raps, "You boxed your way in, now box your way out, or I birthed a dynasty. You're chasing clout." While fans were fighting over who should be allowed to speak, another shocking revelation surfaced. A leaked deposition that was part of Ray's legal filing revealed that during her 2022 tour, Papoose ghost wrote several responses that Claressa used in interviews, responses that were meant to rebrand her as a multi-platform personality, not just a fighter, but a thinker, a woman with substance. Why is this important? Because, if it's true, it means that Papoose wasn't just cheating romantically, he was building a new empire behind Remy's back using her playbook, her style, and her tactics, allegedly even using Remy's stylist and hair team. Fans were now calling Claressa a career thief instead of just a home wrecker, but Claressa was unfazed and went live on Instagram wearing a bright pink hoodie that said, "It isn't stealing if it's already yours." This was exactly what Ray said in a 2018 interview on The Breakfast Club. Another fan asked, "What are you going to say to Remy now? This is a TKO, and you haven't even rung the bell. Someone needs to call Judge Judy on this catastrophe. That's the only place you say for me. Phew." She added with a cunning smile, "Remain in the booth, girl. She will need headgear for the shade she is slinging." But if we look past all the memes and chaos, this story is more complicated than that. This was not just a woman who was disgraced. It was a queen who was dethroned, a foundation that was broken, and a legacy that was shaken, and worse, it was being broadcast live on television. Every comment, clip, and leaked direct message we see is the gradual breakdown of one of hip-hop's most well-known love stories turned into content for the general public. And even though Clara is undefeated in the ring, what happens when the crowd turns against her? There are rumors that a fitness company has already canceled a collaboration video with her, a documentary crew has halted production, and Ray's fans may boycott her next fight. Remy isn't immune though. If you thought the lawsuit was harsh, or the party drink toss was dramatic, you haven't seen her. Her reputation, which was restored after her release from prison, is now in ruins once more. According to sources, she is planning a candid interview, and guess what? Mona Scott Young, the same genius behind Love and Hip Hop, is producing it. The working title is Remy Ma, What You Never Knew, and it is expected to cover everything from motherhood to Papoose's darkest secrets. This time, there are no gloves, just cameras and consequences. And there you have it. One drink, one scream, and one broken legacy shattered in front of the world, with every second captured in 4,000. Remy Ma's crown was stolen, Claressa's silence was weaponized, and Papoose was in the middle of a public battleground that had devolved into a love triangle. But was Remy justified in blowing up like that? Did Claressa go too far, or was she just claiming what was already broken? Is Papoose the victim or the bad guy? Please share your thoughts below, because this isn't just gossip, this is war with Wi-Fi.